in Pitt County Schools. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to have such a great experience. And there's so much for you to be involved in with Parents for Public Schools. So, a couple of things that I want to say. First of all, I just want to thank our sponsors. Aaron, if you want to wave back there. Aaron Greenleaf and Patrick Reed are with RE/MAX Preferred Realty, and they are our sponsors of Kindergarten 101, so thank you all for being here. I do want you to know a few people that are in the room. So we have Elizabeth is on our Facebook Live. We've got Deborah is our site coordinator. Elizabeth's an intern from ECU. Deborah works with us to make every event that we do absolutely perfect. And you met Megan at the front of the room. For when you checked in, she's our Bachelor of Social Work intern. So we're so thankful that she's here helping us get everybody checked in. So just a few things for you to know about Parents for Public Schools before we move on tonight, so that you'll know some things that you can be involved with. You all probably picked up a flyer when you walked in the door, and that tells you more about our programs. But for the most part, we have 3 programs that we really focus on. We are a local chapter of a national organization, so our chapter really focuses on 3 main things. We do community conversations. We have one for each attendance area, and then smaller pockets, whoever asks us to do one. It's an opportunity to share your voice, to talk about what's happening with Pitt County Schools and what your experiences are with them. And we share that with our school leaders. We also do school tours. So if you missed it, there are QR codes hanging on the door and down the hallway. If you would scan those before you leave, it will take you to the website where you can sign up to tour as many schools as you would like to as you think about your kindergarten options, okay? Also, if you ever know anyone moving to Pitt County, send them my way. I'll set them up with a tour even if it's not tour season. And then we have a parent engagement program. So tonight is part of that. We do monthly workshops this year. But next year, we'll be doing our cohort-style parent engagement program. That is 1 full day per month when parents get to learn everything they need to know about being an advocate for their child's education, from the classroom to the county level to the legislative level. So I encourage you, if you're really interested in that, when you leave, just put the PEP, Parent Engagement Program, next to your name at registration. And I'll know to send you an application for that. But we'll also have those out in March or April. That's what we do here at Parents for Public Schools. We are so excited tonight to have a great list of speakers that will give you a chance to learn all that you need to know about kindergarten. There's a chance to ask questions at the end. We are Facebook Living it, so that will be posted and turned into a YouTube video. So if you missed something, just go back and watch it again. And we hope that we've got some folks watching from home. And we want to welcome you all and just say thank you for being here with us. Feel free to share that Facebook Live as well, okay? We are going to start out tonight with just a word from our sponsor, Aaron Greenleaf. Unfortunately, Patrick has thrown his back out, so he couldn't be here tonight. And Aaron's going to do amazing and take it away.
Oh, amazing. I don't know about that. Patrick is definitely the better speaker. Thank you for having us. Navigating kindergarten can be very, very scary. But there are a lot of great options, and just know that your child will be loved and flourish wherever you send your child. And just like with buying or selling a home, it can be a very scary process, but with the RE/MAX agents, we can help you navigate through that so it's less painful. Thanks again for having us, and I hope you learn a lot tonight.
Thank you so much for being with us. And your popcorn on the table is thanks to Aaron and Patrick, too. I do want to just take a moment. Dr. Linker tries as often as he can to attend our events. He was not able to be here tonight. But he asked me to just please send a sincere thanks to you for considering Pitt County Schools, and to just let you know that he is excited to have all of these new parents joining our schools and building our schools into even stronger places. So I send many regards and thanks from Dr. Linker this evening. So we are going to go ahead and really dive in. We have Lisa Tate. She is the Director of Elementary Education for Pitt County Schools for K-5. And so she's going to come up and we'll get your presentation pulled up.
Thank you for coming tonight. I'm very excited to be here. We've been doing this for a couple of years. So I'm going to share some information. You're very lucky to have one of our great principals, Ms. Setzer, here with her group, her wonderful entourage from South Lundy, and she's going to give you some realistic things from her lens, and I'm just going to kind of go over from the district level what the process is, and then at the end, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. So if we would go on to the next slide. So let's just jump in with registration. I get more calls about this question than I do anything else, and I always feel bad when somebody tells me my child's birthday is September 1st or September 2nd. But this is the state law that your child must be 5 on or before August 31st to be eligible for kindergarten. On our kindergarten registration website, on the Pitt County site, we have made it very easy. There's a drop-down menu that says I want to. You click on that, and it literally says I want to register for kindergarten. It takes you to the page that has every form you need. It has the health assessment that I believe one of our pediatricians will be talking about. It'll tell you really everything that you would need to bring to the school, but you don't have to do it there either. You can wait and do it at the site itself, but it's just for your convenience. It also will give you the dates for the registrations at each of our schools, because they each have some different dates within a week or two of each other. So I think that would be helpful for you as well. We provide all of these both in English and Spanish, and most registration sessions are held in the media center or the main office area. And we're just our heart is warm that when we start school next year, that you will be able to come and visit our schools and let us know. Oh, yes, thank you. Sorry. I'm used to having my remote, and I don't have control over it, so it threw me off. So I'm not going to read these to you, obviously, most of you know this, but these are just the basic things that you must have when you do go register. And really, to be honest with you, all of those are the exact documents that you have. You can't have not one, not any of the others. They all must be included when you do register. So just make sure those are ready. And again, the pediatricians here will go over what the health assessment is all about. Now, we do, I believe Colleen talked about the school tours. We highly encourage you to do that. That is the best way for your kiddo to go in and see while kids are there, and to visit the school and see the classrooms and the gym and the cafeteria. And they feel very welcome when and it takes some of the anxiety away for you as well when you see that they're excited about coming to school. So I also would encourage you to visit, multiple schools. We have that opportunity, and so tonight I think has given you several times to be able to sign up. At registration, you will receive more specific information at that school. I often get asked what happens during assessment. In general, what they will ask is really, and Ms. Setzer brought this up the other night, they definitely need to know how to say their whole name. So that is one of the first things that they get asked over and over and over again. Not their nickname, but their whole name when they come in. Most schools have them count 1 to 10, perhaps write their name. They need to have recognition of the letters, not just being able to say A, B, C, D, but actually point some of them out. How they hold a book, do they read left to right, and just some of those things. So now I'm just going to kind of give you a really broad overview of what happens in kindergarten. And I will tell you, as will Ms. Setzer when she comes up here, reading is extremely important in kindergarten. That's really where we spend a lot of our time. And we begin with the oral literacy. Listening and understanding, expressing thoughts, feelings, and ideas, learning new words, retelling stories, and actually taking turns in classroom conversations. I remember when my daughters were 5, I could not get a word in edgewise. They also would tell me a story that went on for 30 minutes. So imagine a teacher that has 20 kids in the room and they all want to tell that same story. So we do take time to do procedural things like, okay, it's your turn to talk, now it's your turn to talk. So these are some things that we can practice actually before they start kindergarten. All right, again, literacy, what does it look like in the classroom? You'll see teachers modeling. There'll be read alouds. You'll have small group reading. Letters, sounds, rhyming, and beginning words, sight words, and center activities. So they'll have to be independent. So while the teacher's working with a small group, they will have centers throughout the room, and they'll have to independently be able to follow those directions. So after, with literacy, we talk about writing. And that, back when I was in kindergarten, I don't think we had a whole lot of expectation about writing besides the alphabet. Now we do have an expectation that they write about 8 sentences by the end of kindergarten. I know that's a lot, but they can do it. They all do it, and they do it well. And so we start that pretty early because writing teaches you how to read, reading teaches you about writing. So we use writing in these ways: labels, stories, lists, journals, sounding out. There's a process, and our teachers do a phenomenal job of bringing that into the classroom. Math, again, basics, the numbers, counting objects, looking for patterns and things, measurements and graphs, and solving problems. I was in a kindergarten classroom last week, and the teacher was talking about perimeter. So we really do bring in academic vocabulary. That's much more than when, again, I was in kindergarten. Science is one of the activities I believe the students love the most because it's hands-on. Again, they bring bugs into your house or anything else, then you already know that they love to do those kinds of things. So we have worked hard to bring STEM. Linker has created that in a lot of our elementary schools. So we do incorporate STEM activities into our classrooms. And again, the last is social studies, which is very important. We're teaching them how to be a little community, how to collaborate with each other, and what they need to learn about themselves and others in their classroom, and just overall respect with the school environment. We encourage you, of course, to attend open house. Open house, especially if your child is riding a bus or getting home different in a car, is essential. And I have 2 APs in here that can definitely tell you if they can get you an open house and get you a bus, life is great for everybody. So do make sure that happens or occurs on the night of open house. I put in here about Independence Day because I do get a lot of questions about this as well. This happened about probably 10 years ago now, where we were asked to have Independence Day where our students, and this is a K-8, not just kindergarten, after about a month, I think it's into September, that they walk to their classrooms on their own. And we really do that because we want to teach independence, but we also want them to be able to start instruction on their own, and the teacher can go ahead and get class started. So again, that's about a month, I think, like I said, in September. It doesn't mean that you can't go in and meet with the teacher if needed. It's just on a routine basis, we would like for them to do that on their own. And I believe we're going to do the questions at the end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Is that correct? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So in between each speaker, we are going to have an opportunity to do something a little bit fun. So Megan will come up and bring me the bucket, get out your tickets, and in between each speaker, we will do the bus. All right. Last 3 numbers are 2, 2, 1. Who has a ticket with 2? That's right here. All right. Megan will bring you all a fun door prize. She'll bring it right to your table, okay? All right. Now the next one says presentation from Kay Wethington. Kay had to be out of town this evening, so she has sent her presentation, and I am going to give it. Hold on. Let me get it pulled up over here. So Kay is over student assignments with Pitt County Schools. So just a couple of things to know about enrollment. I know that Lisa talked to you a little bit about kindergarten enrollment. That will start in March at all of the elementary schools, a chance to get registered for kindergarten. But if you are interested in open enrollment, so many years ago, Pitt County Schools had the opportunity to choose between about 6 schools that you could go to if you didn't want to go to your own. Now they have about 26. So I won't go through all of those today. They did vote on them right here in this room Monday night. So if you have a question about if you're looking at a school and is it open enrollment or not, let me know, and I can definitely look that up for you. I don't think they've posted it on the website just yet. I don't think it's updated. But I took pictures in here, so I got it. So just let me know if you need to know if you're looking for open enrollment. They will begin accepting applications on March 1st. So if you are assigned to one school, but due to whatever reason, you live closer, you like the school, your friends going there, whatever it is, you can fill out an application to go to a different school in Pitt County. That application opens on March 1st. You can download it online. I have so many parents write me and say, where do I go for the application? I just Google Open Enrollment Pitt County Schools. The first link takes you to the Open Enrollment form, okay? It will not be updated until March 1st. I've already had lots of people emailing me saying, I can't find it. That's because it's not there. It will be there on March 1st. Priority applications are March 1st to March 15th. So if you definitely want to go somewhere and you want your best chances of going to that school, turn your application in by March 15th, okay? Open enrollment is then still open until June 1st, but their priority deadline is March 15th. And then on March 16th, they start sending out letters to let you know, yeah, you got into the school that you wanted, or you got your second choice, or whatever it is. But you will know pretty soon, hopefully by the end of March and probably sooner, where you have been approved to go. And then that says the list of who you approved has already been approved. When you receive your open enrollment letter, you can go to your school and get registered. Now, I get a lot of questions that say, my school that I'm assigned to is having kindergarten registration on March 9th. But I'm not going to know where my kid's going to school until March 30th or something. Just wait. It's okay. All right, so kindergarten registration will open. It's going to open. That's the day it opens, okay? That is not the day that you have to go, all right? So it will be open till August. I do encourage you to go as soon as you know that you're going to go there, because they need to make plans. But it's okay if you wait until you get your open enrollment letter, make your decision, and then go register where you're going to register, okay? We'll wait till the end. If you've got a question about open enrollment, go ahead and write that down and ask at the end. And what you need to know about school nurses. But first, we're going to draw in the door prize. Okay, 218. 218. Right here, Megan will get you a door prize. And we're going to hear from Annie.
Good evening, everybody. Got Lori Reed on there, that's my boss. She is out of town, so I'm her substitute for this evening. So hopefully everything I tell you is correct. We are school nurses that are assigned to specific schools. We are employed by Vidant Medical Center, that is who pays our salary, but we are actually in the schools. It's kind of a gift to the community. For your kindergartners, you must have, as I mentioned earlier, a health assessment from your doctor. They can be valid for 1 calendar year from when school starts. So for example, if school starts this August 26th, I'm not sure exactly what the start date is. If you have a physical within that past calendar year, we can take it. All the pediatricians' offices, doctors' offices have these forms. They are state mandated forms. They're called the health assessment forms. They're typically blue. They don't have to be blue. You can have a copy of one though. But they have to be filled out by the doctor. It has basic well-child check stuff on it, like vision screenings, any medical concerns, anything like that has to be filled out. The other important thing is a copy of your child's immunization records. And they must be up to date. You have, by law, 30 days, 30 calendar days from the first day of school to provide both of these items to us. Otherwise, and this sounds horrible, but your child will be suspended. So if it starts on August 26th, you have till September 25th because there's 30 days in August. But so that is something that if you don't have a physical or well-child check for your child at this point, I would go ahead and call your provider and get an appointment scheduled. We run into this problem every year that right before school starts or after school starts, been a school nurse since 2000, middle of September. We have a van that will go around to all the schools and do health assessments on kindergartners that don't have it, so they don't have to miss school because of that. But it's a state law, and as sad as it is, it's what has to happen. As a school nurse, we are there to keep your child safe, to make sure that you have everything that you need, medical-wise, health-wise. For example, if your child has asthma, you will have to have a medication authorization form signed by your pediatrician and you. And that's another thing that is valid for a whole calendar year. So if you go to the doctor right now and get a form filled out for your child's asthma inhaler, dated today, February 10th, it will be good until February 10th, 2023. So that's good for a calendar year. And an asthma action plan is cake on the icing for that too. If we can have that, we follow that. There is not a nurse in your grade school every day of the week, unfortunately. So the teachers are the person who will be administering the inhaler to your child. They are trained to do it. We can delegate that task to them. Most schools, like my schools, we have like little medical backpacks, and they carry their costumes, medicine, and inhalers, EpiPens, that kind of stuff with them to wherever they go. They go out on the playground, they go to lunch, they go to encore, that all goes with them. Severe allergies, we have, each year it seems like we get more and more food allergies, environmental allergies. We have a severe allergy action plan form, and I have all of these forms. If anybody needs them, I'll set them up there too. But severe allergy action plan would need to be filled out by your doctor as well. We can have EpiPens sent to our school if that's something that your child needs. If it's a food allergy, we need a unique mealtime needs form, which is basically a diet order, and that's from your provider as well too. It lists what we need to omit or we need to substitute for food allergies. Or if there's something even more intricate, like if the child has to have food chopped or pureed or anything like that, that would be put on that form as well. Any kind of needs for those items. The school nurses will, when you do enroll, you'll fill out a health information sheet too, and list anything medical on there that needs to be addressed. If there's something specific, the nurse of your child's school will give you a call, and if they need to develop a health care plan for that condition, they'll do so with that. Let me think of anything else. ADHD is something that maybe comes down the road. Hopefully, medicines are given at home if needed, but if there's an instance where medicine needs to be given at school, we can do that too. And that's also given by a
4-year-old visit are the MMR, varicella, the measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox, and then the polio and the DTaP, diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis. And typically those are combined, so it's really only 2 shots. If your child is not up to date with those shots, if you didn't do it at the 4-year-old visit, we're thinking I'll do it at 5, just make sure those are done before kindergarten. You can even call your pediatrician's office and get a nurse visit just to have those shots done if your checkup's not due until the fall. Just like Annie said, as long as you've had a checkup in the last 365 days, we can fill out this form. If your child is overdue more than a year, we can't fill this form, we have to have a checkup. We do get a lot of calls at the beginning of the year, parents trying to get them in, and everyone's trying to get their sports physicals, everything else, and it is hard to get in. So if you know that your kid is overdue or they need to go ahead and get it done, go ahead and call your doctor's office now. Get the checkup done and this form filled out. For shots also, there are no personal exemptions. So just, there are some medical exemptions, and if your child has that, your pediatrician can write the letter for that. This is another thing we typically fill out if your child has asthma, meaning if they use albuterol, even though I'm technically diagnosed with asthma, if they use albuterol at all, you will need this asthma action plan in that school med form to go with your child to school, okay? And the albuterol you send with it, or whatever medication you send, just make sure it doesn't expire during that year. That happened to me with my middle son who has asthma, and he sent it back to me because the albuterol expired halfway through the year. So just make sure it's the newest one that you have. Same thing with any allergies, make sure your EpiPen is up to date. Any medication you send to school that is not expired. If you do send albuterol, make sure you have a spacer, okay? Pediatrician, I mean, you never should have a spacer, so make sure you spend your spacer as well. Here is what that allergy action plan looks like. Again, if you're gonna get this done at your pediatrician's office, let them know ahead of time because it takes us a decent amount of time to fill out the allergy action plan especially. It'll just kind of speed up the visit in general. The school med form, right here is what this looks like. We fill it out for any medication that you've given in school. Okay. The Benadryl, EpiPen, albuterol, stimulant medication for ADHD, seizure medications, anything like that. We need to fill this out. And we have all of these papers at our office, but if you wanted to, you can get them, you know, I think from the Dade County site too, to bring them in if you want to fill out any ahead of time. So the main things on my part, just trying to get your kids to bed early, maybe starting that a little bit, you know, in the summertime to get them used to going to bed a little early, because it's going to be tiring for them to get up every day, especially if they're not used to it, they haven't gone to daycare. To get up early, get ready. Don't be surprised too, in the first, even the first semester, they are tired when they get home. They're more tired and more irritable. It's a long day for them, especially if they've only done preschool, half days, or have been at home. Just give them some time, it will get better. Awesome. And yeah. All right.
Thank you so much. I do want to mention, when you go on your school tours, send a note of thanks to Children's Health Services. They are sponsoring our school tour series. So thank you all very much for doing that. You'll see their logo on things that you get at school tours. You'll see some mention of them when you sign up for the school tours. So we're really thankful for great sponsors like both of you at the same table. That's exciting. All right, let's do one more door prize. Two. You got it? Again, this your whole family is gonna win some of these door prizes. How exciting! That's great. So our next presentation is from Allie Setzer at Stud Bundy, and I believe she's got her whole crew here, and I think Olivia
came.
is gonna help her. This is evidence that our elementary schools pull together, y'all. They are really awesome. So we added this to our presentation this year. We've been doing Kindergarten 101 about 5 or 6 years. And I went to a presentation back in December that Ms. Setzer had pulled together about just some really basic, very tangible things that you can do to get your child ready for kindergarten. And I was like, I think this needs to be part of Kindergarten 101. So they have been so wonderful to come and spend yesterday and today with us delivering this information. So I'll turn it over to you all.
Spencer. I'm the principal at Sug Bundy. I'm first going to start off before I make my introductions to say that Sug Bundy is an open enrollment school, and we are hashtag worth the try. So I'm up here selling my school. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So this is my team. This is Miss Olivia Haley. So what do you do when you talk about being prepared for kindergarten? You bring a rock star kindergarten teacher. This is my assistant principal, Lisa Robbins, and this is Andrea Council, my counselor. Ironically, that's an easy way to remember. And my team, we've got Andrew Jones, my instructional coach, my other assistant principal, Taylor Walker. So we were noticing pre-COVID, our kids coming to school and not being prepared for kindergarten. And so we started to look and think, well, you know, back when I was in kindergarten, I know it was much longer than some of them, but kindergarten was half day. You had nap time, you had snack time. If you could sing your ABCs and count and know your colors, you were top of the class. Then you hear Miss Tate come in here and talk about writing 8 sentences. And, you know, they're going to be working independently in a station and all these things, and you're looking at your kid going, first part problem isn't yours because you're here tonight. So the first part is parents not being involved and working with us as a community. You're here, you care, your children aren't even in school and you want to know what to do. Then we have the other part of the problem where we have some parents that are so involved that they do everything for them. And so it's kind of a balancing act for a teacher to balance those two things. So we wanted to come up with some early interventions and things we could do to get our kids more prepared before they come in, instead of seeing in kindergarten they're not ready and we're playing catch up all the time. So in Farmville, we are known as a community school, so we started pulling our resources. We contacted our pediatricians, we contacted our daycares, we contacted after-school programs, and we all started talking and working on this, and I had invited Colleen Dibble, being Parents for Public Schools, so this is kind of where it all came from. Now, Ms. Tate told you all the academic instructional things that they need to be ready for. We're going to be in the down and dirty and tell you the things that aren't on all the programs, okay? So if you'll click through. Click through. Okay. Oh, go back one. And I'm going to have Ms. Haley jump in as we go, because you will notice number 1 on our list is potty training.
I can start with this.
Go right ahead.
Preferably, we hope they're potty trained when they come to us. And that doesn't mean just knowing how to go to the bathroom on their own. That means like unzipping their pants, unbuttoning their pants, doing that all independently.
You mean not in the stall going, I'm done, I'm finished.
Like knowing to close the door when you go in there, wash your hands afterwards, just little things like that, just to get them ready to do that independently, because y'all won't be able to be there with them to help them use the bathroom. And it's hard if there's 20-something kids in there needing you in the bathroom. So that's just a big thing on our list.
And we're not saying, we know 5-year-olds have accidents.
Yes.
We know there's going to be, where they're playing, they get preoccupied, they have an accident, change of clothes, teacher contact, that kind of stuff. We're talking about really potty training, some independence to take care of those things. You want to keep going?
Sure. So we put colors, letters, and numbers up here, just your basic colors, red, pinks, all the primary colors, and typically we see kids coming in here knowing the colors, but just to put that out there. And when we say letters, kind of like I think Ms. Tate said earlier, instead of just coming in knowing how to sing the ABCs, we prefer like they're able to recognize the letter A or recognize the letter M if we just set the letter in front of them. As for uppercase and lowercase, we can continue that on into kindergarten, but just as long as they can see, hey, that's a letter A, and I know that is the letter A, that's kind of what we prefer. Numbers, we like to see them counting at least up to 10 when they come into kindergarten, not necessarily writing numbers, not necessarily knowing 5, that's a 5, oh, that means 1, 2, 3, 5, goldfish, I just didn't count right, but you know what I mean. Just so that they're kind of getting used to seeing the colors, letters, and numbers, and it's not brand new on the first day of school.
Immunization's up today. They did a great job of presenting that. There's nothing worse than getting a kindergartner to start and they're doing well and they've learned the new schedule and then we have to suspend them because they're not up to date, and then they're missing, and that's just a disruption. One thing I will say, some of you may not have an appointment till later. If you enroll now, you hold your place, and we as principals get a teacher allotment. So then we can get the correct amount of teachers allotted to us, so there's not disruption. So even if you have to bring in that paperwork later for the health assessment or something, we can work on that. So get them out, get your name in, and let us start working together. I'm gonna speak to the first and last name. And Ms. Tate kind of alluded to it. There's nothing worse the first week of school in saying, "What is your name, honey?" And her going, "TT." And you say, "But what is your name, TT?" Okay. Work on first and last name, who their teacher is, what grade level, so we can get them to the right buses, the right classrooms. One thing that COVID taught us that was very positive, our kids can walk to class like big boys and girls. And they actually, I hate to say this, parents, they did better without you coming in for the month. We didn't have to tear them from your bodies and you up against glass windows. They actually just got the little book sacks and said goodbye and walked right in, and it was actually a great thing that COVID taught us with that one. You want to do the expectations?
Yes, so this kind of goes along with, I would say, potty train, just knowing basic rules, sitting in your seat, following directions, like not yelling out while other people are speaking. You can practice at home, taking turns, kind of, I think like Ms. Tate was saying again, just knowing basic rules to be polite and respectful to not only teachers, staff, but also their friends that they're going to make and all that sorts of stuff.
Bus expectations. Even though your child may be dropped off by you, we may be going on field trips. And it's like they get on the bus and lose their minds because you'll talk to them and you'll say, "Do you flip over the seat and kick your mom in the back of the head while she's driving?" No. Why? Why are we doing this on the bus? So just the expectations are the same. Family routines, you guys know this. You're the parents who are already out here. Setting up those bedtimes starting in the summer. Expectations, I know. If you're like myself, if your schedule's off, if you stay up for one night late, it's a rough week, so that's important. Phasing out naps. There's no nap time in kindergarten. They are going to come home exhausted. And that's good for you in a lot of ways. But yes, phasing those out. They're not going to get a 2-hour siesta while they're learning ascension. Okay, you've already hit on that one, but go right ahead.
Just, again, the pants, buttoning, snapping, zipping pants, just knowing how to pull them up, dress themselves in so they don't come out of the bathroom with everything out. Also, and
Not that that happens at
no. Just as a precautionary
Correct.
thing. That's what
Correct.
I'm
That's right.
But also, something I've seen actually in the past few months, we've started learning how to tie our shoes, and kids actually really enjoy it. So if you want to teach them how to tie their shoes or start working with them tying their shoes before they come into kindergarten, that would be awesome.
Velcro is for you
And us.
not the children. Yeah. We can't teach them, but they can learn. Focusing on an activity with a friend. When we talk about station rotations, it is sacred time, and that's where the teachers are working with the kids in their small groups. And the children have to go with a group to another activity and be able to independently work. And they can't constantly be saying, "Can you read this to me? Is this right? Is that?" Getting them to do some of those independent tasks. Now, it might be something you start on and kind of work up to, maybe while you're cooking dinner, get them to independently start something, practice something. Listening to a story without interrupting. If you want to have a good time, go in and listen to a read aloud. To 5-year-olds in August when they start, when they're constantly, "My dog has this," and you're reading a story and none of it, and they're all doing it. And luckily, by this time of the year, they have learned to sit crisscross applesauce. They have learned to take turns. They know how to raise their hand. But August is rough. And then anything else that we didn't hit, separating from parents. I mean, I know you can't control that. We talked about it a little bit.
Just one more thing about that with the independent groups. I know in my classroom we have like an independent writing station, an independent reading station where they can go and look at books in our library. So just having them like write or color a picture with correct colors, those are different things that
having their name is important when they first walk in, going to their cubby, their desk, their area. So we've got a list of some books. The resources we gave you has a QR code with some things you could be doing and working on throughout the summer, which will help them a lot. And then we have one last part that these two are going to present on. There we go. Okay, so we wanted to share the process that we go through if you have concerns for your child and their academics. So let's say that, you know, you feel like your child maybe is not performing at the level that you would like them to, or that maybe other students in the class are. There's a process that we go through to provide support for all of our children, and it's called MTSS, which stands for Multi-Tiered System of Support. And so we're just going to cover the 3 tiers that we do in the school. So the first tier is core instruction, and that's every child in the school. We're going to know where they're at and provide intentional, strategic instruction for every child in the school. Okay, so the next layer on top of that is your supplemental instruction, and this is going to be evidence-based small group instruction for students who need additional support on top of your core instruction. It's going to be based on data, it's going to be individualized, and again, it's going to be in a small group specific to the skills that the child needs help with. And then an additional layer is your intensive instruction. So these intense support may be for a child who needs an IEP or an individualized education plan, or maybe we suspect that there's a disability and we want to see if further interventions are going to move them along, or if we need to go the route of an IEP. So again, we provide supports at many different levels for children, and so we just wanted you guys to know that if you have concerns for your child's education, we bring that to your teachers, to your child's teacher, share whatever concerns you might have, so that we know, and then we will be taking care of your child and making sure that they're learning and moving and growing.
And I just want to add that, again, like Rhonda said, if your child has a concern, do bring it to us, but we just don't want you to automatically assume that there is a disability. Because again, that's why we have those different layers of support for that purpose, because we need to rule out based on data. If the child may miss a lot of days, that could be a problem of whether or not receiving enough instructional. The child needs some hearing devices, eyeglasses, you know, there's different variables that we look at to determine the need of the child. But whatever the tier they are at, do know that they will get the support they need, whether they get the whole group, small group, or one-on-one level of support.
And ultimately, like we've been saying, go to school. You'll know when you walk in the building whether it feels like home and a comfortable place, whether you had a good experience in school or not. We've got lots of parents who had terrible experiences in school. We're here to work together, and one thing that I know, 26 years in education, the students who have their parents and school working together collaboratively excel, they thrive. So go visit, get a feel for the school. Go when there's children in the school and teachers in the school. When you go in the summer and it's an empty building, you don't really get a vibe on it. Talk to people, look at their Facebook pages, see what's out there. So thank you for your time tonight.
And one thing,
Oh,
also
I'm
keep
sorry.
in mind, I want you guys to keep in mind that we have lost 2 years of instruction, okay? So pretty much we have a lot of students that are going to be behind, but that necessarily means they have an academic issue.
Thank you all so much. We will do another door prize, and then after that, we're going to hear from Gretchen Wilson, who's over nutrition. She's going to give us about a 5-minute overview of just everything that happens in terms of nutrition, how you apply for free and reduced lunch, how your child gets their food each day, those kinds of things. So 220. Who has 220? You sit up front, you get the door crowded. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Gretchen for a brief overview of all things food.
Yes. Welcome, parents. We look forward to having you come and join us for lunch next school year and the years to come. Your students currently are able to eat for free. That's part of the USDA mandate, but next year I don't know. So we're going to plan that your student needs to be able to bring money for the meals, or that you, the parent, might say, oh, I need some assistance, I need to apply for free and reduced meals. Now, when it comes to the application of free and reduced meals, anybody can fill it out. I recommend for you to fill it out if you think there's any chance that you might qualify for reduced or free meals. The benefits that come out of it, even this year, we still did applications because the benefits are used for other resources that you might need to apply for different things outside of the school system. But, so next year, you don't need it, I would say do it, but they won't be available until July. They're posted mid-July on our website. They're been delivered out to the schools. The schools will have them definitely for open house. But once they're open up on our website, you can come by central office and fill them out there too. So they're available for anybody to fill out anytime through the school year. If anything changes, you have additional family members added to your household, or any finances changes, so you're welcome to do that. But again, we're saying this year we're free. We're hoping next year everybody will be for free, but we just don't know. But we do offer breakfast and lunch, so your kids can come in and have breakfast and lunch with us at the school. As they were saying earlier, though, those names are very important, because when those kids come in and they don't know their names, especially at breakfast when there's not as many teachers or the administrators around, that manager does not know, or that cashier does not know, Titi, as you just said, we don't know who that is, and it will slow down the line. Now, your student will be given a number. They key in on a little keypad, or they can verbally say it. So that's something we need the parents to work with the child. It doesn't matter if they're getting a la carte or getting a meal, they have to enter or say that number. So if they don't know that number until it's learned, then we go to the name. So that's why the name is so important. So work with your students for that, and you'll get their numbers when they get into the classroom. And some schools, the managers will give out little keyboard pads to the teachers, and they'll use those to practice and send off. So you might get a little piece of paper with the numbers on it where you play and practice your students. Entry. We do have scanner systems this year. Some schools have them, some don't. And those are used with lanyards and some other types of tools. They have their ID card on it. They'll have their access to get their free lunch or school meal. So let me see what else is up here. We do, so free reduce, siblings, about the free reduce. If you already have students in Pitt County schools and you already have a free reduce status, it carries over for the first 30 days of the school year. But if you don't tell the manager, she will not know to attach that child to the sibling, therefore we cannot extend the benefits. Okay, and I can't back up once we find out. So it's from the time that we have that knowledge forward that we can match the family members up. So do that, please, if you have siblings in any other Pitt County school. So if you're coming in without siblings and we do have to pay next year, then you would have to automatically pay for your meals until an application gets approved at central office. And y'all would get letters in the mail to say you're either been approved or that you're not approved. So you'll get that to identify and you'll know what's going on. Usually your student will start eating on that status before the letter reaches the house, so the mail's a little slow right now, because it happens the next day as soon as they get approved on that part. Money can be put on account. Again, we do have a la carte, we have beverages and some snacks and supplemented meals. They all meet the smart snack rules. They're not sugary and unnutritional. They have to have some factor that meets USDA regulations for us to offer them. So you can supplement a meal, or they could bring a bag lunch from home and get, a milk or a water or flavored or fruit juice and stuff like that. There is an online payment system. You go to the Pitt County School website, and most schools have it attached to theirs that you can go on for a payment system if you want to do it that way simpler, because we can't take debit cards. At the school level, we can take cash or check. So you can get, today I actually worked with my son and noticed saying I was below $5. So I was like, oh, gotta get some money on the can. So that's great if you need an online card. If not, usually in the past when we were really active with money, we would send letters home if you were getting short and stuff, and some of the sites, depends on the location. So that's something you can keep up with if you want to have any purchases, or if you're gonna be a full pay or reduced pay student. Let me see, I'm gonna count CEP, there are schools I put up, you do have a back and front 2-pager, so really 4 pages of notes that was available out front, I'm not sure if you got it, but it looked like that on one side. And on the back, it's got the CEP schools. CEP is for Community Eligibility Provision. That means a school got identified as a high need, so we were able to give them the meals at no cost. So if your student gets enrolled at one of these schools, yay, great, you don't have to worry about if you're free, reduced, or paid status. However, if you need them for other backup to get some other resources, then you would have to do the application. But most people at CEP schools do not have to fill out an application. I want to bring it to your attention, but if you are have a sibling that's not at a CEP school, you still have to do an application if you feel you need that need of assistance to get free or reduced meals. So I want to make sure you understand that if you leave a school to CEP to a non-CEP, and again, you need that assistance, you can't assume that free is going along with you because that's not going to happen. You'll have to bring money to pay until an application gets processed or you're matched up that you should get those meals at no cost. Dietary needs, I know, I'm so glad that the nurse and the doctor is here. If you have any dietary changes, you have to get a form filled out. I cannot, my staff cannot make any adaptations without that medical number. So your pediatricians have them, also they're online, they can be pulled down and you take them yourself, or they should have them there. They will fill those out and they will turn them in. We have to go by what's written there. We have some parents say, well, I don't do that at home, or my child does it. I'm sorry, this is what, I have to go by what practitioner says. So I make sure you know that if you do fill it out, we have to follow those rules to the best that we can. I'm going to bring it to your attention. If you do have adaptations you need to make through the year, then you've got to get readjusted, rechanged from your doctor. They did it to us. We then process it. It goes through 3 parties. So I just want to make sure you know it takes time. It's not going to happen tomorrow. So it's best if you do go during your time this year, you can go and get that in the works and get it in. We start working on those in June and July for the next year. So as we get them in, we go ahead and make the updates for students. So you're welcome to do that. The bad thing is kindergartners aren't showing up in the system yet, right, until later. So we hold the kindergartners, but we can at least go ahead and start doing some research behind it, in case, especially if it's a major medical issue that we have to do some adaptations to. That's all that part. Let me see. They were talking about things to make sure your kids can do. Start working on balance. These kids do, especially right now, they go back to the classroom a lot, and so they have to carry their tray, and most of their trays are like this. They have to carry it. They got stuff on it. So practice, carry maybe a book, holding it across and walking around the house or something, and put something on top of it. Practice that balance. It will help out. Also, I would say practice undoing condiments. Don't do it. When you tell your child do it. Because they're going to need to do it. Their teachers can't do 17 to 25 kids. They just don't have time to do it. So please work with your condiment use for your students so they can be able to do that, use their forks and stuff of that sort. And on the website are all these items for you. We do carry our menus are always on the website, so you can see those. If you're only going to start looking at it and talking with your child about what we offer and get them used to some things, that's available for you to look at, because I had a parent ask me that yesterday, which is over 50 years. That's why I recommend go ahead and look at our monthly menus as they're posted, talk to your child, see what they may like to choose. You can always supplement it. I say, plan if you want to bring a sandwich or something extra, but still say I want the child to go through the line and get the meal. In case they don't like it, you have something for them to substitute so you know what they like. They might want to eat every day, they might not. So that's something that I would say you should try it out and let them try to do things. A lot of parents have been happy that now the kids go home and they are eating food they've never had before. But if you continue to take the bag lunch, they're not going to be able to have those samples of items. One thing I did forget to say is we do, here's a little board here some of y'all saw, but we do, breakfast and lunch. We offer after-school snack at some schools for some programs. We also have fresh fruit and vegetable at 6 locations. Those are elementary schools that we can offer that to. Every year it changes. We usually have 4 to 6 of our schools. If you're fortunate to be in one of those schools, that's when your child would have, this year we're currently doing 2 snacks a week, and it's a fresh raw fruit and a fresh raw vegetable. They have to have one of each twice a week. So that's something at no cost to the parent, doesn't matter of your eligibility status. The school has been qualified for that. The teachers work with us too to help out with more educational information out to the parents. And again, we're hoping that would then in turn get a child to ask the parent to bring something from their store home, continue trying to keep that out. That is, I know that's on it. Okay, I think that's it for me. If you have any questions with school nutrition, always feel free to contact me at my office.